Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? It is RPG A Day 2020, and it's day 26 of RPG A Day 2020. And our word for today is strange. And this brings up, I noticed a lot of my answers to a lot of these prompts have kind of centered around a few, 4, 5, 6 basic concepts that seem to be coming up over and over again, or that I keep on being reminded of. So that's where I am right now. And this one really kind of fits with a lot of that motif or theme or whatever. And, the first thing I think of with strange is the idea that it's something that James Raji said in Lamentations of the Flame Princess, talking about at some point, that in order for the weird to be weird, everything else has to be normal. And, I got the chance to ask him one time, what made you choose the 30 Years' War as the backdrop for that particular game? And he said, well, that was like the most horrible time in the world to be alive. It's during that, 30 Years' War, Germany is just a horrible, horrible place. However, all that stuff is still normal, it's still mundane, it's nasty. And then to make the weird really pop out, you don't have very much of it. And just this one little spot, this one little thing is just really weird and bizarre. And so when it does happen, it's freaky. And that gives it a lot of spice. When there's too many things that are strange in any given game, then the strange stops being strange. A point in every direction is kind of the same as having no point at all, to quote Nilsson, The Point. And one of my favorite, I used to listen to that as a kid all the time. My parents would put the record on, and this is the town, these are the people. And anyhow, this has nothing to do with that. I just like that. Go check that out. If you haven't seen The Point, you haven't listened to the soundtrack, which is awesome, go check that out sometime. Great little story. But anyhow, that's what I like to do in a lot of my games. That's what really makes the RPG, or one of the many things that makes the RPG experience a lot of fun, is we play in this world with a twist, or some world that's relatively mundane. We're talking about playing Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. Damn it, Jeff Talamian, you should have made it easier to say. But we were talking about this idea that if we do that, everybody's going to be one particular tribe, and it's a lot of normal people there, and then just the weird will happen every once in a while. You'll encounter something strange. That makes it pop out a lot more than just a crazy monster around every single corner, and sorcerers everywhere, and magic all over the place, and all that kind of stuff. Where it just gets a little bit old after a while. That's a great thing about like a game like Delta Green, because it's the modern day. You're playing modern people, but there's the Cthulhu mythos in the background, and it's not always front and center, but you run up against it. And something like Quantum Black, it's a little bit more frequent. But I like those games where there's just something a little bit off, a little bit odd. Even in a game like Broken Rooms, where a lot of things are weird and strange, you don't always have to emphasize that. That can be kind of in the background, and when it does happen, oh boy, it's really freaky. It's really strange. That makes the strange, the weird, exciting. It makes it scary. It makes it poignant. It makes it like, oh wow. It keeps, if you're like me, it keeps me engaged and other players engaged, and keeps them on the edge of their seats, because that's really freaky. Even like I was talking about yesterday, the day before, about the crowbar, the lever, the idea of inserting a lot of times as a player, it's all right, just insert something into existence. I pick up the tire iron that happens to be in the trunk of this car, or whatever it happens to be. But sometimes it's strange, because the game master will say, it's odd, but there isn't a tire iron in this car. It's odd, but the lights aren't on. It's odd, but nobody's here at this shift. Isn't that strange? And that's when it really pops out. So the strange is something, like a lot of things in gaming, that's best used sparingly. And when it's there, oh boy, it's freaking strange. All right.